Hey everyone, my name is John Williams with Kimberly Nurseries, and today we're going to talk about some of the things that you should do to take care of your newly planted plants. Installing new trees, shrubs, perennials around your property can be a significant investment, and it's important that you do what you can to maintain that investment as much as possible. There are a few things that improve the curb appeal of your property as much as a well thought out planting plan and having those plants planted the way they're supposed to be. The next step is to then maintain those plants. The main struggle with newly planted plants is making sure they get enough water. Newly planted plants typically require much more water than established plants, and it's important to make sure that those plants get plenty of water during their establishment period. New plants are typically considered established when their roots have grown out beyond the canopy of the plant. This establishment period can typically take between a year to 2 years to get to, so it's important that you maintain water through that period of time. Improper watering can significantly increase the amount of time that it takes a plant to get established, so maintaining a consistent watering schedule will help those plants become established faster and help them grow and fill in the space more quickly. As a general rule, plants that are planted in the spring should be watered at least every day for 2 to 3 weeks. And then after 2 to 3 weeks, it's okay to back that water off a little bit. For those plants that are planted in the heat of the summer, it's oftentimes good to include an additional watering time. So you may be watering those plants 2 or 3 times a day to make sure they're not drying out. Moist soil around the root ball of the plant will encourage those roots of the plant to push out into the existing soil and work on getting established. After 2 to 3 weeks of daily watering, it's generally acceptable to reduce the number of days you're watering down to 3 days a week. But it's also important to maintain the same volume of water. So if you're reducing the number of days you're watering down to 3 days, then you'll want to increase the amount of time that each zone is watering to make sure the plants are getting the same amount of water in fewer applications. These are some general guidelines, but each site and each situation is different. The important thing to remember is just making sure that each plant has enough water to fully saturate the area surrounding the root ball of the plant. In some cases, overwatering plants can be more harmful to the plant than underwatering, so it's important to make sure that you're not soaking the plants in so much that they're just swimming in water. It can also be really easy to overwater existing plants when you're planting new plants among them. New plants will typically require a lot more water than your existing plants will, so you want to be really careful not to overwater the existing plants while giving your new plants enough water. If you have an existing irrigation system that you're watering all the plants with, it may be necessary to water your existing plants as normal and then supplement the water to your new plants with a hose. Other than ensuring new plants have plenty of water, there really isn't much you need to do as far as fertilizer or pruning during the establishment period of new plants. New plants will typically only push out the amount of leaves that the roots are able to support, so there's not a need to do much pruning that first season. So it's important to remember that there's not much growth that's going to be happening on those new plants in that first year. The first year they typically don't do a whole lot. The second year you'll see a lot more growth happen, but it's that third year that you typically see a lot more growth. I like to say that the first year they sleep, the second year they creep, and it's that third year that they leap. Our guarantee for new plants installed by Kimberly Nurseries is dependent on timely communication. So if you have any questions or concerns about the health of your new plants, or if you need your sprinklers adjusted for these new plants, please give us a call and we're happy to help however we can.